social media. So this is not meant to scare you, it's meant to help you a little bit. I know people talk about all these key terms and what you have to do to, grow your audience, but I want you to walk out of this class having a general idea of what you want to post, what is unique about yourself. So these 3 packets, I think everyone got one.
Yeah.
Really, it's just brainstorming to kind of think about, like, how would you set yourself apart from every other real estate agent on the planet? Because you want to be able to be someone that people go to, that they like. They're like, oh, Christine has great ideas. I'm going to go to see what she posted today. Miko has some really funny stories as she's putting up signs, and I'm that person. I have fallen multiple times when I put signs up, oh, what funny thing did she do today? Was it you? You don't have to own up to it, but we all do these funny things, and I really want you to think about, while we're going through this, think about the people that you go to all the time. Why do you go to? Are they funny? Do they give you a lot of information? Do you just like to know what's going on in their life? Because as humans, we're naturally kind of nosy, and we want to know what's going on. So these packets, we'll kind of get into it towards the end. I want to leave a little bit of time for you guys to think a little bit, but be honest with yourselves, what is it that you like? What makes you stand out, okay? All right, social media 101, welcome to class. Does anyone feel like this right now?
Yep.
Social media. You don't have to raise your hand, but social media, it's great because it's ever evolving. On the flip side is it's ever evolving. So you're constantly trying to figure out how to put yourself ahead of everyone, whatnot. So hopefully by the end of this, you won't look quite as confused as she does. Okay? All right, so what is it and why is it important? What do you know about social media? Networking platform, yes. What else do you know about it? What comes to mind?
The downfall of society.
The downfall, it can be. No, it can be, which is why my daughter will never have it until she's 18. Yes. So I do, the background is I do work in social media, so I do know that there is a flip side to it. So you have to be very careful if you have young children, how it affects their mind.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. My daughter is not going to have a phone for a long time, so we'll see how long that lasts. But so some people say social media, when they think of it, they think of dancing. I'm not a dancer, so you'll never see me dancing in a video. Just quick, information, okay? So basically, what is the purpose of social media? It's meant to educate. You're a professional, so you want people to learn from you, okay? Some of you might have great knowledge and background in staging. Some of you might have your knowledge and background in financing, whatever it is that you can educate your audience on. Entertain. If you like to dance, go for it. Let that be your thing. To engage. This is the biggest thing. Community engagement. It's scary sometimes to put yourself out there, but if you don't have an online presence, people don't know you exist. It doesn't have to be something like being silly all the time. You can teach people, and that's how that they know that you exist, and they can engage with you. Hello, welcome. Come get. Okay. So how do people use social media? This is sort of just a general idea.
No, you're fine. I can see both of you.
So in general, why do people use social media? They use it to change the public perception of your brand. I know we work for our brokerage, but you're also working for yourself, so you want to be able to say, hey, this is what I can provide to you. This is why I'm the expert, right? You want to develop new customer leads. Instagram, Facebook, and we'll go over just a few. These are great ways to generate leads, okay? Once you figure out what your ideal client is, you sort of give information to your ideal client. Do you want to focus on helping first-time home buyers? You put out information about first-time home buyers. If you specialize in relocation, military families, you really want to give that information out. Maybe this past weekend they had the air show. You could post a picture of it, or if you're there, it's even better, post a picture video of you there. Collect feedback about new products. Products being like your services, real estate. Every once in a while, it's great to ask questions so people can tell you what they need, what they want, what they don't want. lastly, to educate your audience. As real estate agents, you really want to educate people, and there's a lot of information out there, a ton of information. Not all of it's correct. Not all of it is for the common good of the home buyer, home seller.
Right.
So you kind of want to cut through that, and you want to educate them. And how you portray that is up to you, right? Depending on who your people are. So these are just the most engaging types of social content. We have shifted towards more video, right? People, I mean, you don't have to raise your hand, but do you like to go on TikTok or Instagram? You like scroll, and then an hour later, like, oh crap, I should have gone to bed. I'm totally guilty of that, and I try really hard to set boundaries for myself. But the thing is, that is what engages people. They say, oh, let's look at this 30-second video about why it's a great time to buy a home, right? Little things like that, all the way down to links. Links are great. I personally like them because it allows me to be like, oh, I want to read more about it, and then I click on it, and then it takes me to whatever website. It can be your own website, it can be an industry-specific website. But if you'll notice, the very top, 66% versus 11%. Yes.
When you say short form videos, what type of a timeline are you looking at?
So typically between 30 seconds to 90 seconds. If you go any longer than that, it depends on the platform as well. So the caveat is, if you're on YouTube, you can go up to like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
I typically would not suggest going longer than that because let's face it, the attention span is just, especially when you're on your phone, is not there. So if you can't hook the people and then tell them what you want to tell them in about 60 seconds, you should probably think about what you want to cut out, because that's usually the general 30 seconds to 90 seconds. Yep. And if you have questions, raise your hand. I sometimes forget and I just keep talking. So just raise your hand.
So now we know where your daughter gets it.
Oh, is that, yeah, maybe. So how would you maximize your social media presence? And some of this stuff we're going to be going into towards the end. We're gonna leave the room by assembling a content calendar for November. It's not gonna be complete, but you'll have a general idea. I'm a very visual person, so I need to write it down. I need to see it. I need to know what I'm planning for. Instead of saying, hey, I'm gonna post every day. No, you're setting yourself up for failure because life happens. You've got to write an offer and you're like super stressed out, tired, or you've got kids and they get sick. So if you plan ahead of time, you're leaving yourself time to like sort of adjust to it, okay? Another thing, this changes. So you want to post things with a purpose, meaning you want to post at a time that's great for your audience. And we'll go into more how you figure that out. But ideally, if you're, the insights tell you that your audience is most active at 7 p.m., you post at about 6:30, 6:45 p.m. Because, I do it, like getting ready for, cooking dinner, waiting for my pot of pasta to boil. I'm like, oh, let's just see what's going on here. And it usually falls around that time. And it's not going to be the same for everyone, so don't like stress out if you can't get it at that time. The more you post, the more you engage, it bumps your posts and stuff up to the top. And one thing I don't want you to worry about is the word algorithm. You'll hear it a lot. It's just important to get out there, okay? If you start thinking of it as very methodical, it doesn't become fun, you don't like it, and you won't do it. Yeah, you won't do it.
It's also ever changing too.
It is ever changing. It does change based on when you're growing. It's going to change because you have more people, and they're active at different times. And the last thing is always respond to messages and comments. Sometimes you won't get nice comments. You still are professional, and you will still respond to them in a way that does not poke the bear, even though you want to sometimes. Okay. Oh no. When in doubt, put a little heart emoji at the end. That's what I do all the time. When I am like, oh, I really want to say something, but I won't say heart emoji. Not always. If you get a heart emoji from me, that's not necessarily always the case.
Nice save.
No. So there's just.
Love vibes.
I'm sorry.
Not sending love vibes.
Oh yeah. Oh no. So there's definitely, at the end of the day, whatever you put online is kind of permanent.
Yeah.
People can take screenshots. It's just kind of out in the universe. So just be mindful. If you wouldn't say it in front of a group of people, then you probably shouldn't say it. Okay. Different social media platforms. This is not meant to scare you. This is just meant to show you the different platforms that are available. And depending on the personality, so I use Instagram a lot. I don't use TikTok a whole lot because it's just not me. But so, and I know you guys are familiar with a few of these. Facebook. With Facebook, it's great because you can have a personal page and a business page. Okay. And if you don't already have a business page, I highly recommend that you do, especially if you have like children. It allows you to sort of separate a little bit, and you can kind of pick and choose how personal you want to get versus not personal. Instagram, which is what we'll go into in depth here. TikTok. Is anyone on TikTok? Has anyone ventured into TikTok?
We're starting one.
You are?
Yeah, next month, yeah.
Yeah. It can be great. I've known real estate agents who lean heavily into it, and they actually have gotten a ton of leads from it. LinkedIn, which is great, and we'll go into more about that. It's more about like this, professionals. You can like share links, talk about, little achievements, things that you have received lately. Twitter is very spur of the moment. I don't really use Twitter, but I do know some people enjoy Twitter a lot. Pinterest. The stats say that women use it, but my husband's on it every day, so I don't know what that says. He uses it more than I do. It's like a visual Google search, kind of. YouTube. I know Legends has a YouTube channel. If you are into the longer videos, that's a great place to post your videos. You can also monetize yourself on YouTube based on subscribers if that's one of your goals. I put Instagram on there twice and TikTok. Sorry guys. All right, so Facebook. I think everyone in here is on Facebook, correct? Yes. And this is something that I actually kind of want us to get into, like following each other on Facebook and Instagram, just to help build the followers. So for brand awareness, conversion, conversation campaigns, retargeting campaigns, business to business, business to consumer. Facebook, like I said earlier, if you don't have a business professional profile, go ahead and try to put that on your list of things to do. Instagram, brand awareness, visual first. It used to be just pictures, but it has since moved to videos, short videos. I really encourage you to get into that, and there's different ways to do it without showing your face all the time if you don't want to. I don't always have makeup on, and I don't always look, I look a little sleep deprived sometimes, so you don't have to show your face. There are ways around it, right? Pinterest, it says majority women, but like I said, my husband's on it every day. He uses it more than I do. For e-commerce, probably why shopping, because he likes to look at boat things and bike things on it. And a lot of it is kind of repetitive, redundant, but if you do want to get into that, Pinterest is a good one. YouTube, all videos. If you have someone that took a video of your latest listing, that's a good one. With YouTube, I highly recommend you do show your face on that one. And then LinkedIn, I know a lot of agents really like LinkedIn. It's a way to connect and network with other agents in the area. If your ideal client is like investors, a lot of them use LinkedIn quite a bit. So you can also, network on LinkedIn as well. And then TikTok, this is more fun, engaging. If you want to dance. You don't have to. All right, so this is the part that kind of is more numbers based, so metrics that matter. Reach is telling people, telling you how much of your content reaches users' feeds, okay? And I'm gonna get into how you can look at that in your insights. Clicks, the number of times people click on your account or your post engagement. This is what I want you to focus on. Okay, there's a difference between people looking at your stuff and there's a difference between them engaging. Do they like it? Do they share it? Do they save it? And that's, Instagram does a really great job of showing you that. Hashtag performance. People will use every hashtag under the sun sometimes. I don't suggest that, and we'll go into this in a little bit of like what kind of hashtags to use. And the purpose of a hashtag is when people, I mean, how many times do you, well, maybe it's just me. When I go travel, I'll like type in, like if I go to, I don't know, Charleston, I'll type in Charleston food, and it'll bring up all these accounts of like, you know, restaurants or places. The goal of social media is for you to be the local expert. When people type in Jacksonville real estate, you want, you know, your profile to come up. And then organic and paid likes, there's different ways that you can pay for it if you want to. But the beautiful thing about social media is you can spend as little as you want to as much as you want. And then sentiment, how do people feel about your content? How many times do they like it, dislike it? You know, what are the different emojis? I always lose track of how many different kind of reactions you can have. How do you get to the, no, how do I do this? Clark, sorry.
Jinky, what's your magic number for hashtags? How many
Anywhere from 5 to 10. People will say 30. The thing with when you go the thing is when you go that high, you tend to, okay, let me backtrack. If you use a general hashtag, like if you say hashtag Florida, you will literally get so many bots and like fake accounts because it's so broad. If you were to put Jacksonville real estate, Florida real estate, kind of cuts it down when people are very specific. Gone are the days where you put 1 million hashtags. So the purpose is you want people to find you for a specific reason, right? Because you're a real estate agent, because you live in Jacksonville, anything like that. Or if, and we're gonna get into that in a second, like if you have a post about coffee shops, right? Hashtag coffee shops in Jacks. Things like that, because think about what people are going to look for. You don't want anybody Billy Bo Job or Billy Joe Bob. Is that what the phrase is? Just come to your account. You want specific people to come to your account, right? So you want to be very intentional, okay? If you get to know me, you'll know that I mess up idiomatic phrases all the time and whatnot. So this is, yes. Did you?
Nothing. You said you called me out for something.
Oh no. Well, you looked at me like very confused. Yes.
Do you have a set hashtag that you always use for your posts, and then a few that are actually tailor-made for that specific post?
Yes, so I highly recommend that you have, so when people follow you, it brings it back to you, your profile specific hashtag. Yours is Stick with Nick. I love it because it's stuck in my head.
Yeah.
What is yours?
What's that for our hashtag?
Yeah, do you have a hashtag?
We always do, yeah, Super Inspectors, because that's our new website that we're on, so it's always Super Inspectors.
Yeah.
We do that one, and then the rest of our thing are tailor-made to our video. Our video we're putting up is gonna be, if it's like a new construction inspection, it's gonna
Hashtag new construction. Yeah. Yes, things that people are going to be searching for. Yes, Nico.
So how do you make like your own like that? Like,
Oh, you just, drink a glass of wine and think of what you want
so it's
people
whatever
to.
I could
Yeah.
put it out like
Yeah.
it was awesome like every time.
Yeah, like
Okay.
hashtag
It becomes my
Nico
own.
is the best. I mean, if that's what you
You
want.
said profile specific, so I guess just
Yeah, for you. So if
Okay.
some people say
Is it
like
long?
hashtag Jill sells Jacks. I think it's the one that you have. Something that's for you. Stick with Nick. Jill sells Jacks. A lot of people have somebody sells whatever the city is.
how does it get linked? So like, because if you touch onto it, it doesn't. How does it link over to like your say Instagram or whatever? Does it? It just links to all the posts that's on.
Yes. So
Okay.
yes. So whenever you use that hashtag on every single one of your posts, it'll come back. And sometimes if you in the Instagram search, if you put Jacks or real estate or real estate agent, it'll bring up anything with that hashtag. Mhm.
904 Realtor.
What is it?
904 Realtor.
904 Realtor, is that someone? I think that's someone. And I don't know what the things you have to be careful of using, but with the front of Realtor, like you can't say the Jacksonville Realtor or something like that. But and Clark will go into that if I'm giving you wrong information. But, so this is just a way that you can, so here. When you build your Instagram profile, and if you don't already have one, I'm gonna have you make one today. So yay, classwork. Professional, make sure it's a professional account. You just click on where it says professional dashboard, and it'll bring up all of your insights. So, the first thing it'll show you is like how many accounts that you've reached. And it gives you a lot of information. Oh, here it goes. So account insights. So I'm still building my real estate page. It'll tell you how many accounts you reach, how many accounts you engaged with. 5.4% is good. Anything around between 3 to 5 is good. You're never going to have like 100%. So this, as you can see, and this is all free. When you make your Instagram professional account, this is all insight that it gives you. So you can schedule your content, you can make your content based on that. So I won't be upset if you whip out your phones and look at it while we're talking. So I'm gonna go into Facebook a little bit. Facebook not as much because I think everyone typically understands Facebook. And obviously I can go into this more later. So Facebook posts, how do you boost your engagement? Ask questions. What questions do you have? You can be what I've learned is with my students, I don't say, do you have any questions? You say, what questions do you have? What questions do you have about new construction? What questions do you have about the changing market? Behind the scenes, people love behind the scenes stuff. Getting ready for your open house or listing, trending topics, and you can kind of figure that out based on what you see in your personal feed. If there's like a new show that people are into, you can talk about that. Telling stories, posting videos. Infographics are great with the caveat that you don't put too much text on the post. If you don't have a title, you need to have like a main title and like information, but information that's easy to read. Sharing industry tips, okay? Hosting a contest or giveaway. I'm doing a virtual pumpkin carving giveaway, and it's easy. They can share pictures, and you don't have to do them all the time. Like ideally, maybe once a quarter would be great, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can just be like, if it's coffee day, I know Jill leans heavy into this stuff, like she gives out, coffee cards, or just anything.
Coffee cards or we do pop buys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You might get a pop buy, like my October pop buy is a Halloween card with a $5 gift card in it. And the $5 gift card, they're supposed to go out and spend money on whatever Halloween-y kind of thing that they want to do. And if they post it on Facebook or Instagram and tag me in the post, which means that all their friends see the tag, then they get entered into a $100 drawing for $100 toward their Thanksgiving dinner. So it's just building that post.
Yeah, and so I love how she does that, and she's very specific about when she does it, because Clark always says you have to constantly remind people that you're a real estate agent. You're a great real estate agent. You are the real estate agent that they should hire, right? People, if they like you, they trust that you know what you're doing, they'll hire you, right? List local favorites. This is one that I like to do, like 5 best coffee shops in Jacksonville.
I'm seeing a trend here.
Oh, is it coffee?
Coffee?
Or drinks? Oh, is it coffee or
She's
drinks?
tired.
Just coffee's on my mind all the time. So people like to know the local stuff. Like, yes, they know you're a real estate agent, but how many are there?
12,000.
Yeah, but you want to give them
Give or take 5.
Oh, jeez. You want to give them additional information that they might, find useful. If the majority of your clients are families, maybe talk about, what's going on this weekend, okay? You can either do a short video, you can do like a little post, anything that will help your client, right? Like, oh man, that was really great. She really helped me out. Gina's like, oh yeah, of course, I can give them all this information, and they will go back to Gina, okay? Because they like her and she's informative, gives information. Local events and local news. So like we talked about the what is it, the air show that was happening. Yeah, NES air show. If your ideal client is someone who is like a military family, so relocating, sharing things like that is great. If a bunch of your clients are like investors, who you want to show like, oh, this is the plan for this future part of Jacksonville, whatever. Share news articles. Whenever Legends has their posts, you always want to share theirs. Or if you have an agent, I'm not sure, like, are you allowed to share other agents, like listings, open houses, and things like that? Do we encourage that? Yeah, you always share other agents, listings. It's like a tit for tat, like you can help them and you're helping yourself, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Show your personality, okay? Who is it? Tony, oh my gosh. Every morning, I'm like, oh man. I always have to remind myself, don't drink your coffee while you're reading his post, because I've spit out coffee before. There is a theme, I talk about coffee all the time. But be funny, like, if you don't think you're funny, like you can share memes, you don't necessarily have to share a joke, but like memes, anything to, when you make people smile, when you make them laugh, they remember you in a good way. So I will always think of Tony and his sometimes inappropriate gifts, but they're hilarious. But I always remember that. And then always share your company posts. Whenever Legends shares like open houses, listings, things, I think they had one for like the fireworks, share those. And it helps everyone because they're like, oh, let me go to Legends. Oh, look at all their agents. Oh my gosh, I love how, Christine knows a lot about dog parks. I don't know. That's one I did recently. So just things, and always bring it back, to your group. Yes, so when to post. This is what I was talking about earlier. When you go down here, so this is why you need a professional Facebook account, because then you can create Meta Business Suite. So one of your options is you can click down here, it'll say like optimal time. So this is when I was trying to post at 10 a.m. It said, nope, no way, Jose, you need to post at this time, 7 p.m. So I would post at 6:30 p.m. or 6:45 p.m. because 7 p.m. is when people are there. You want to kind of be proactive and put it before people are on there, if that makes sense. All right. Have I lost anyone?
Does that do it automatically, so it just tells you what time's optimal?
Yeah, so based on the insights that they have, this is why I highly recommend that you have a professional, and I think you have.
I do, yes.
Yeah, it'll tell you. And it'll change. I want to say the social media accounts that I run are usually around 7 or 8 p.m. It depends on who your audience is, okay? Or you could just publish willy-nilly if you want to, that's fine too. Sometimes I come across something really funny, I'm like, I just have to share this right now. And sometimes people are up at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, and they need a good laugh. So you don't have to like hold yourself to this. It's just if you want to schedule for an optimal time, that would be
And it says publish to Facebook and Instagram, so it will automatically go to Instagram?
If you link the two, yes. And Meta Business Suite, because Instagram is owned by Facebook, you can either schedule just to Facebook, or schedule just to Instagram, or schedule them both. I feel like this might be a different class for me to go into why, but there are different reasons. There's a reason why they're separate, because Facebook takes different dimensions than Instagram. Instagram, you want to use hashtags. Facebook, you don't really have to, but you can. Instagram, this is what we're going to lean heavily into. So if you guys want to flip to your second page, this is one that is kind of like a happy medium. Some people are really afraid of TikTok. Some people are like, well, I need to branch out from Facebook. Instagram is like a nice middle ground. So we're going to kind of go into this. If you have an Instagram account already, go ahead and pull up your phone and bring it up so we can like work on this together if you'd like. If not, you can just save it for later. And there's also a printout version too if you want to write your ideas down. All right, so, excuse me. How can you make Instagram work for you? I put this at the very top because this is what is really working for businesses and people are now creating reels. What is a reel? A reel is a short video. Clark had asked earlier, what's the ideal time? about 30 seconds, about 90 seconds. Don't go past 90 seconds because you're gonna lose people. Okay, sharing quality content. What do I mean by quality content? I mean, make it valuable. I always say post with a purpose. If you're gonna post to make someone laugh, if you're gonna post to share information, if you're gonna post to share like a listing that you have, make sure there's a reason for posting it, okay? Use location tags. You are a Jacksonville real estate agent, so you want people to find you in Jacksonville, right? Post consistently. Miko's consistent posts might look different from Jill's. Some people might post Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Some people post 3 times a day, every day. It's entirely up to you what you're comfortable with, what will make it fun for you. What I don't want to happen is for you guys to feel like, oh, this is something else I have to do on top of everything else I'm already doing and I'm burnt out, okay? It's meant to be fun. If you're not having fun, I guarantee you your audience will be able to tell, okay? Engage with users in your niche. So I just go ahead and say, go through and just engage with everyone that you follow. You can either like their stuff, that's the easiest. If someone is posting a successful listing appointment, say something. Social media is great for that. You want to engage with people in your community. Use niche related hashtags, which we'll get into. Collaborate with other accounts. We are going to be collaborating on things. You can also collaborate with other agents. If the two of you are just so funny, you could do like back-to-back banter about real estate market. I've seen some really great collaborations. It takes a little bit more planning. You don't have to do it every day, but it really helps to bring people back to your account. Use call to actions, and we're gonna get to that in a second. Things like DM me, direct message me for more information. Drop a heart if you like coffee. I'm just gonna roll with it. List where your favorite coffee shop is. Things like that. Things you want them to interact with you. Basically, it's like you're going to a party. You're like, oh, hey, what's up? You want them to talk to you, right? What else? Put niche keywords in your name for your bio. So like Jacksonville real estate agent, your local expert, and then create carousel posts. So we're gonna get into that. Does anyone have any questions for me so far? No? Anyone need to stand up, get a snack?
Should we do on Instagram, should there be a professional as well as a personal? Or does it matter? Or are you able to?
I personally have a personal professionally because I have a child, so I'm a little more picky about what I share on my professional. Yeah. But the percentages are people want to see more personal things from you. So don't just post like open house, open house, open house, just sold, just sold, just sold. Like break it up a little bit. If you went to a restaurant, talk about that. If you have tips for staging, talk about that. One thing that I do sometimes, if you just don't have anything to post, or you're just maxed out for the day, you can also upload pictures of like, does anyone else like bright and airy homes? And you can just post pictures of like which ones you like. Make sure it's, I don't know what the restrictions are. Some
can't be copyrighted.
It can't be copyrighted. So anything on Canvas, public domain. Pixel Splash, I think, is public domain. Things to kind of like engage people. There was one of my friends posted this really ugly kitchen, in my opinion, and she's like, "What would you change in this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me tell you." Like, things that will like. So something like that. Like, what would you change this picture? I'm like, remove that, add this.
My address.
So something that will get people talking. Instagram, people worry so much about it being picture perfect. No, sometimes the point is to gauge people, okay? I was hesitating on posting this because it changes so much, but people always kind of want to know, when is the best time to post on Instagram? If you'll notice, a lot of the times, Monday around lunch, you're like, oh man, I work so much, let me just take a brain break and see what people are talking about on Instagram. Tuesday, you're like, oh man, I was productive, so I'm gonna scroll in the morning. And then and Sunday, you notice at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I relaxed for the weekend. I'm ready, and I reset for the weekend. Let me see what's on Instagram. Yes, question. Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's
Not
okay.
me. Yeah.
So if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand. So these are just a very general idea of if you are kind of like, I don't know when to post. The nice thing with Meta Business Suite is you can post ahead of time. Sometimes I post for a month, but then also know that you can change things. It's not set in stone.
So is Meta Business Suite, you have to get into that, how do you get into that?
You have to create it. If you have a Facebook business account, then you can create it. There's like a button. I have to show you.
Okay.
It's a dashboard button.
Yeah. Yep.
It's really easy.
It's easy.
And you can post on Facebook and Instagram at the same time.
Yeah, so I know at the beginning people griped about Facebook buying Instagram, but it just makes it easier for everyone. And there's other apps where you can schedule as well, but I'll only mention a couple. So, all right, so on that second page in your packet, how to make an Instagram profile bio. This is your first impression. When people go to your bio, they want to know why they should hire you. Okay. You want it to look nice, clean, professional. You want a clear picture that's on brand. What does that mean? It means show your face. Don't make people look like my eyesight's getting worse. So I'm like, I don't want to have to like bring my phone up to my face to see your face, right? So, and it goes without saying, maybe you smile in the picture. People tend to hire happy people. The highlight covers match your brand. What I mean is, people talk about having your brand kit, and it doesn't have to be anything super like technical. What are 3 colors that would go well? I think my colors are like neutrals. The Legends colors are like green, gold, black, right? Black. So it shows some consistency, right? It's really easy. Just pick the same colors, and you can change it over time if you want to. The name portion of your bio is SEO friendly, search engine optimization. When people are looking for a real estate agent, they're looking for a real estate agent in Jacksonville, in Florida. Make sure it's things that people are going to be looking for. A call to action in the last line of bio. Some people get really cheesy, like, DM me for, the best agent in Florida or whatever. And ideally, you want to have your website at the bottom. Some people use Linktree. There's many options. Basically, you want to remind them, because people forget, and you have to remind them to contact you, right? Make a statement that builds credibility. Why do you stand out against other real estate agents? Maybe you're recently nominated for something. The best real estate agent in Jacksonville, right? Something that gives you credibility. How many years you've been in the industry, what kind of certifications you have, anything like that. And then, so basically the first line of your bio answers questions like how, who, and why, okay? Who are you? Why should we hire you? How would you help me, okay? You always want to be proactive, like what kind of things are people going to want to know about you, okay? This is just, the next are a couple that I follow consistently because they post consistently great stuff. SEO friendly profile bio. Her name, her full name, she's a realtor. Her thing is she likes to keep it real, like she does. She posts reels, I don't know, multiple times a day. She educates. What she is, she's a broker associate. Her brokerage, make sure you put that in there with the @ sign so we can go back to the Legends, right? Location, because she's in East Texas. Her thing is she's 30 under 30, class of 2022. And it could be anything. It could be your certifications, if you're a staging professional, if you're a luxury specialist, anything like relocation specialist. And this is another one. So she has 9 years of experience. She's with this brokerage, and then it tells her at the bottom, contact me to buy or sell, and then at the bottom, the last line links back to a page, okay? All right, the anatomy of a great Instagram post. This is gonna change from time to time, okay? So one of the biggest things, so these are the 6 things that I would focus on. Use location tag. You know where you're located, Jacksonville, Florida, Palm Beach or Beach, St. Augustine. Tag people or products. If you are working with someone, if you happen to go to a restaurant or a coffee shop, tag a coffee shop. Make sure it's an eye-catching, clear image. What I mean by that is,
Excuse me.
make sure the picture is very clear, like your eye is going to gravitate towards one thing. If you have way too much text on it, people tend to kind of go past you, right? If you're gonna put a text on here, I could say, based on this photo, 5 reasons to buy this shirt, right? It's very simple, very short. For Instagram, right now, they're gravitating towards vertical images versus square, okay? Any caption that you use, this is when, if you have a really funny personality, you can really like get people laughing. In the first 10 words, okay? What's this one? Good news, you don't need to post in your feed every day. This is true, you don't have to. You want to be able to capture their attention, okay? And then use effective hashtags. Some people will say 30, some people will say 5 to 10. I go towards the 5 to 10. You don't need 30 hashtags. All right, a nice thing with Instagram is you can create guides. This is when you can clump all of your posts together. So the ones that I have are around town, your behind the scenes guide to Jacksonville. Like if you like to be out in the water, you can talk about the different waterways around Jacksonville. I have the Northeast Florida market updates. Each month I post about the market updates and clump them together so they can like kind of see how things have been trending, changing. And then the monthly homeowner checklist. I just clump all those together. It's a way for you to kind of categorize all of your information. However you want to categorize it, whatever things you want to categorize is completely up to you, okay?
So can we just copy yours next
Or I mean, you
time?
can copy mine too. Yeah, whatever is out there, you can use. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I actually have a question.
Yeah.
On those guides, so when you create them, do you go and take like all of your pictures first and then you create the
Yeah. So
guide?
yeah.
So it's not something that you can add to?
No, you have to have a minimum of 2 posts. And another thing is, let me go back. It doesn't have to be your post. If you want to say guide to the best restaurants in Jacksonville, you can go to each restaurant and like add their post to yours. It doesn't have to be yours. But again, you want to be the local expert. You want to be someone that people go back to, okay? And it could be, I don't know, parts of town too. It could be anything, really. It's up to you. Whatever you think your ideal client or your current audience would find useful, okay? Why you should tag local businesses. Don't post something in a story unless you're gonna tag someone in it, okay? I know some people are gonna be like, oh, no, you do need to. I was at Bold Bean Coffee Shop, and I tagged Bold Bean, and they always reshare your posts. They always reshare your posts, with the exception of the 0.01%. I don't know why they didn't. Maybe their social media manager was on vacation or something. But they will repost, and then people will see you out and about. They want to know that your real estate agent is out and about in the community, like, getting to know other people in the community. You can add it to a highlight. You can boost it if you want. Boosting means you pay money for people to see it. I don't recommend you do that unless you have a specific post that you really want people to see. So I always recommend, like, I know a lot of times when we have classes here, people will tag landmark title, and then all the other realtors who follow landmark title, see it, and then it's a big part of real estate.
Everybody comes here.
Yeah, everyone comes here. Yeah. So another thing you can do on Instagram is carousel posts. I love carousel. What is it? So what it is a collection of posts when they say swipe left. And it gives you more information.
Okay.
She does a really good job with hers. The first one, catchy title: 4 things to focus on when home shopping. Right? The posts that tend to do are things like numbers, or you have to see this view, or something like that. very short. You notice how the focus on the center. I personally don't like to put my superimposed picture on the post, but some people do, that's their thing. And then very clear, okay? The font that she uses is very easy to read, okay? And then the last one, and this can go, I think the max is 10 carousel posts on Instagram. The last one, you always want to bring it back to, you're thinking about buying, thinking about selling, call me, contact me, message me, call me. You always want to bring it back to the call to action, why they, what they should do. Because you get them thinking about, whatever topic it is that you brought up, and they might have questions, so they'll call you or email you or send you smoke signals. All right, how to use Instagram highlights. This is where, how I talked about stories. This is kind of where you can store the stories. So, I don't know, she had a dollhouse that she was making. Utah life, Jacksonville life, beach life, staging, anything that you post in stories and you kind of want to make it easy for people to find again, you can kind of like categorize. This is another way to categorize. So highlights are a way to categorize your stories. Guides are a way to categorize your posts. Does that make sense?
Say that again?
Oh, sorry. So right here, these are called highlights. Highlights are where you can store your stories. I don't know how else to say it without putting them so close together. And then guides, which are right here. Guides are a way to store and categorize your post, which are gonna show up right here. Basically, you just want to make it easy for your people, right? So you want to help them be able to find things again, okay? How to make an Instagram reel. If you have your phone up, you can make an Instagram reel. You just swipe up from the bottom and you click on reel, and then it'll give you options to pick audio, upload your videos, visuals, pictures, and then you can also put a cover. If you are OCD and you want everything to look the same, you can make your own covers, and then you can upload them. You can also change them later, or if you're just kind of lazy like me and you just have willy-nilly, and you can change these later too. One big thing is, so how do you make your reels look cohesive? This is actually our previous mortgage lender, and then this is a food profile that I love her videos. It's just so pretty. So you want to, how do you make it look cohesive? You want to use a similar backdrop or intro. You don't have to stand in front of the same white wall or same tree every video, but similar things. Like if you're gonna be talking, there's one real estate agent, she always talks with her dog. She's got her cute little dog next to her. She's like, Benny, what are we gonna talk about today? And that's her thing, that's her yeah, people love dogs. Oh yeah, if you wanna see what your people like, post things like with your dog or your children, and like I always get way more likes if I post something with my daughter. Include easy to read text. So make it easy for the people to read, okay? If they can't read it, they're gonna scroll past. And then you wanna make sure your text is in the middle of the box, because if they cut it down, it's gotta be in that middle square, okay? Or it could just be all visual, like, I don't even know how, I can't say her name, I always mess it up. Sarka's Kitchen, all of her beautiful pictures of all the things that she posts, all the food that she makes. So you could do it either way. How to find trending audio. Somebody's phone brought up some music. So how would you know if it's trending? There's this little arrow right here when you're looking. And what does it mean to, so I would be careful with this only because Instagram growth doesn't necessarily mean great. You can expand, well, I mean, so there's like, yes, you can increase your followers, but you want quality followers, right? So I always say, like, don't solely, make reels with trending audio, because sometimes you might get people who like, you're never gonna work with, so it's kind of pointless, right? But if you want to, if that's where your goal is right now, to grow your followers, then yes, that's one way to do it. All right, how to make an Instagram story engaging. So if you have your phones out, go ahead on the left, top left, to add to a story, and then swipe up. There are many ways that you can make your stories engaging rather
I feel
than.
like my Instagram looks different, maybe it needs an update or something.
It might, I mean, I can take a look at it later.
Yeah, it
Um,
looks different from yours when I
I
was.
Oh.
know, it looks different also.
Oh.
I don't have trying to quote whatever that
Oh,
is.
no.
I don't wanna do that.
I'm
So-
very excited.
And yeah, so they do update quite often. I think maybe mine isn't updated, I don't know. So one thing I did recently was I did Popeyes with apple cider mimosas. See, not coffee. I also drink alcohol. You can add location, okay? You just click on location and then you can type in the location. Another thing to do is this is one that I highly recommend you do. At someone or mention someone. If you are dropping your pop by off at a local business, like tag them in it. I always try to make it a point to tag legends because when you tag them, they can reshare. Okay? Another thing you can do is ask questions. What's your favorite fall drink? And then people type in and you can share their responses. What's your favorite place, or I guess it should be where's your favorite place to grab a drink at Jack's? These are just the ones that came up to mind. Do you like mimosas? It's very simple. Yes, no. You can take it a step further and say, heck yeah, I love mimosas. No way, Jose. Like, bring out your personality. And this is a good one that I like. This used to only be available for the influencers, but now us normal people can use it. Adding a link, okay? This is the best one, I think, especially if you have a great website, right? So you can add your URL and then you can make your sticker. You can change it, contact me today, okay? Let's grab a drink and talk about real estate. Something that'll grab the attention of your audience, your ideal client. Oh, and this is really simple. Do you love mimosas? Heart emoji. Or not heart eyes emoji, and they can just slide based on how much they agree with you. I feel like people tend to respond to these pretty frequently because it requires minimal effort. Yes.
So how did you get to that?
Yeah. So on your Instagram, on your phone, if you go to your main, not your profile, but the main page, like when you're looking at all the things, your top left.
Okay.
Is there a plus sign with your face? Or for your face with a plus sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, just click on that.
Oh. Okay.
And then swipe up. I'm pretty sure it's swipe up.
Yeah, wow,
That's
that's
that
close.
close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's.
And then if you just swipe up, then it'll give you different options.
I swiped up and it
Oh.
just closed it.
So let's just add this and then,
Swipe up.
oh, sorry. Okay, it should be different. So if you put a picture and then you click on, there's a third button to the,
Okay,
sorry.
that's where you, forget it.
The little star picture? The little star? You said the third.
Click on your.
Not a picture.
No, just one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so
And then
the
go
picture,
to.
and then it puts it in there.
Okay, so you're gonna have
The picture, okay.
or you can just take a picture of your friend.
Okay.
Not
Cute.
Or
No,
you
no,
can take a picture of me if you want.
Okay.
We're trying.
Like,
it doesn't like me.
Us social media class. Cause I don't even have an account.
Oh man, I haven't set up anything. It's not allowing it on my camera.
And I'm
That
gonna
just tells you that I don't.
And I'm gonna leave some time too as well, so I can come around and help everyone.
There we go, allow camera on Instagram.
All right, hashtags. There's a lot of not controversy. I feel like that's too dramatic of a word, but various opinions about hashtags. But basically, the number of hashtags don't matter, right? So profile specific, whatever your hashtag is. Stick with Nick. Jill sells Jax. I think the Legends, they might have one. Legends of real estate. Niche specific, real estate, home buying, selling a home. Location specific, Jacksonville, Florida, Ponte Vedra, St. Augustine. Post specific, home buyers, first time homeowners, relocation. Things that will bring people back to your post, not just random hashtag home. Do not do that. If I see that, I'll tell some. I'll call you. Take that one off. Engagement. What are the rules of engagement? Try to schedule at least 10 minutes a day. It could be while you're drinking your coffee. Waiting on your home buyer to call you back. Reply to messages, comments, interact with other, real estate agents. Like if they got a listing, you say, oh wow, I really love that house, Be authentic. Okay, I just said that very sarcastically, but be authentic. People can tell when you're being real, okay? And this is one that I want people to focus more on, being ADA compliant, which means that everyone can access your post. For hashtags, capitalize the first letter in each word, like real estate versus real estate. Because when it reads it back, it'll read real estate versus real estate or whatever it would jumble up being. Include captions. I think you can set this up automatically, but just make sure you want to make sure that everyone has access to your social media post. And then you can also add alt text captions or image descriptions. So for example, a good description would be a real estate agent talking to a client in a restaurant and a coffee shop. A bad one would be picture real estate agent, right? You want to make sure that everyone has access, What are some calls to action? This is a very lengthy list, but some things. Vote for your favorite in the comments. Double tap if you agree. Link in bio. DM for the link. Save this for later. Share if you agree. Follow for more tips. Share so others can learn too. Anything you want to give them the information, and then you also want them to come back to you. Okay? That goal, coming back to you all the time. So how do you keep the conversation flowing? Be proactive, you're answering messages, comments, be reactive. You're the one sparking the conversation. So also, talk to people, start the conversation. Be sure to show your personal side. Acknowledge and answer questions. Remember, you're business professionals. If somebody has a question, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Make sure you answer them in a very professional way. Respond with humor, if that's your thing. Warmth, and then sometimes you don't have to show your face all the time, but at least make an attempt to show your face because you're the person they're going to be working with, so they need to know who they're working with, the good, bad, the ugly. Sometimes I post stories that I look like a hot mess, but that's the reality of it, right? Scheduling. Just a sample, if you want to flip to the last page. So this is a month ahead social posting. Think about how you want to structure your social media. On Sundays, you want to talk about lifestyle things like, fun times at the beach. Monday, do you want to give people market updates? If you notice, there's like a variation of topics. You don't want to talk about just real estate. Yes, I understand that you're professional, but there's different aspects of real estate, right? You can talk about a financial term. What does it mean to have a good debt to income ratio? Some people might not know what that means, especially new buyers. So yes, some people will look at it like, oh, I already know that, swipe off. But you might get that client who's like, oh my gosh, she is breaking this down for me in a way that I never knew before. And people will appreciate it. If it means that it gets one client for you, that's great. Listing, if you've got a listing coming up, I always recommend talking about it a couple of days ahead in advance, so they can put it on their calendar, right? Thursday, maybe people want to go out for happy hour, something local, a restaurant, talk about your listing again, just in case they forgot, because everybody forgets, so you have to remind them again. And then maybe something on Saturday fun. Talk about some latest style trends that you don't like. Subway tiles, are they in or out? Something fun, lighthearted, whatever it is that you enjoy, okay? So different types of scheduling applications. Meta Business Suite, I recommend if you don't have it already, go ahead and try, and I'll see if I can help some of you setting that up. Canva, you can also schedule straight from Canva. I haven't done it straight from Canva yet, but I know that's an option. And for those of you who don't know, Canva is great, especially for people who, yeah, it gives you a lot of like templates and you can adjust it and you can make your own brand kit. Later, Hootsuite CoSchedule, those you have to pay for. If you want to invest that money, that's great. If you don't want to, you don't have to. There's different options. All right, so hopefully you look like this guy now, maybe. Happy, he's like happily posting about his new profile. All right. That's really on TikTok. So now it is your turn. So these packets, I really want you to think about what you want your Instagram profile to look like, what you want to post about, and I'm gonna be here till whatever, unless anyone, if you need help with anything, okay? Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, you're telling your card.
So how much time should we kind of allot? I mean, social media I think all of us can get extremely overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
Between Facebook and Instagram and I guess being able to connect Facebook and Instagram is a way to cut down a little bit on timing. But are you talking like multiple times a day because you're trying to respond and you don't want it to be too delayed or?
Right, so, okay. What I highly recommend, so they're batch scheduling. So maybe like at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month, schedule for the next month. In terms of engagement, I would say I use, for some places, for some accounts that I manage, I do like 3-hour increments, so like 9, 12, 3, 6. I typically cut myself off at 9 for work-related stuff. I'm still scrolling at night for other things. But like, as long as they say to respond between 3 or 4 hours, right, is ideal time. So if you want to do a schedule like 9, 12, 3, and 6, and you can also set up notifications. So if you want to, you can respond right away. But I would say don't let it go past 4 hours, but definitely don't let it go past 48 hours, like 2 days, business days. Yeah, because especially if someone's reaching out to you and they have a question, they want to know that someone's like a human's there and can answer. Yep. Yes.
What do you do if you boosted your listing and it's a new listing and someone comments, "Are you crazy?" And it's happened to me, like, because they thought the price was so not in line with what.
Yeah.
So what do you say to
Hard.
that?
Hard.
I wouldn't even.
Oh yeah. So I mean, you don't want to.
Crazy deal? Question mark? Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so that's when.
Uh-huh.
Well, then that's when you go back and like, well, you don't have, okay.
Yeah, I know. So you don't want to sit there and start an argument on Facebook or.
No, so you would say based on and Clark, correct me if I'm wrong, like based on the current market and location, this is the price that we can come up with. Please feel free to contact me for any further questions or anything, because you want to answer. What you don't want to do is ignore them. Don't ignore them. You want to answer them because they're not the only people looking at it. Everyone is looking at it. So they want to know, hey, Diane's really professional. She answered them, and obviously she doesn't agree with them, but she's also opened herself up to further communication. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes.
I always say, I'll present any offer, just go ahead and tell me what you want to
Or you take Jill's, yeah.
What do you think it's worth?
I know, or you could do that, like, what do you think it's worth?
You're right about not. It's funny, because I'll look at something where I had that same question. Let me see, where did they answer?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I can't answer it.
I mean, sometimes if people still post something controversial, I'll sit there with my tea or like coffee, just like read through the comments. So what you don't want to do, because remember, you're a business professional.
Yeah, that's why.
You don't argue with them.
No, definitely.
But definitely don't let them run over you. So be like, if you want to say this is why, feel free to contact me if you have any further questions, something like that. Yeah. And you're gonna get people like that. You're not going to be everyone's favorite. You just aren't. But your goal is to
Serve the client.
Yeah, serve the client. You want to make sure that people know that you're there. And if you can't answer that question, how do they know that you'll be able to, negotiate and support them?
That's good.
Yeah. Did I just like overwhelm anyone?
No, it's very good.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I am around if you have any questions, and I can help you with either setting it up or scheduling or ideas. So, awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Please.